Good day, YouTube. This is Barron's Beauty coming at you. I just wanted to do a quick video to introduce myself. And although I'm new at YouTube, I am not new to the healthy hair care journey. I don't have many subscribers, but I do have followers. And those are my close friends and family members who have been very supportive to me in my journey and my commitment to growing healthy hair. They are the ones that convinced me to start making YouTube videos. And at that time, which this has been some years, but at that time I decided that I would do it. However, if it wasn't one thing, it was another. Not knowing how to do it, not having the proper equipment to do it. And then before you know it, I started going through things in my life and I just put it off. And before you know it, I had to grew my hair to a little bit above my shoulder to bra strap length. And then I decided that I didn't want to come on YouTube with all this long hair and trying to tell you or convince you that this is what I did to get healthy hair and to grow it. I would have preferred for you to be on the journey with me, for me to learn from you, you to learn from me. You watch me go through my trials and my errors. And, help me through the journey. We can pull off of each other. So at that time, I decided that I wouldn't do it. But then I started realizing that I really had to ante up my hair care techniques and processes because as my hair began to meet each individual goal length, I had to put more care into my hair. And what I mean by that, for example, when my hair was above my shoulders, when I first started out on my journey, I didn't really have to worry too much about my ends. Not to say I didn't have to worry, but not too much about the ends of my hair. But then once I reached that my goal of, at that time, shoulder length, then I had to start putting some care into the ends of my hair because now it was taking on the friction of rubbing up against my shoulders. Then as I continue on, reaching my next length milestone, which was armpit length, I had to then put a lot of care into not just my ends, but also pretty much the whole strand because my hair began to not only split at the ends, but it was splitting in between the shaft. And what I mean by in between the shaft, and I have some hair here. Here is the, let's say this is the root and this is the end. My hair was splitting in the middle of it. And come to find out that was because now that my hair was rubbing up against my back, a large portion of the strand was taking on those frictions. I even found one time I was sitting in a chair at work and I was leaning up against my hair because, it had done grow and I wasn't used to it being out because I am an advocate of protective styling, especially when you're trying to get your hair healthy and let it grow to unbelievable lengths, which is one of my goals. And when I wore it out that day, I found myself leaning up against it. So it was funny, but it felt good because I'm like, wow, my hair is actually that long now. But nevertheless, like I said, I found myself having to put more care into my hair. So I decided, hey, I can come on YouTube and make videos about pretty much how to maintain healthy hair, not just how to grow it, but how to maintain healthy hair. And lo and behold, before I can even start making the videos, I went through a joyous time in my life. Although it was joyous, my hair didn't react with much joy, and it began to take a turn for the worse. And what I'm speaking of is I had a little baby girl, my first baby girl, and although my hair really thrived throughout the pregnancy, it was growing in strong and healthy, I made a very big mistake. I decided during my pregnancy to transition to natural. Yeah, bad idea. I am a stretcher. I do my Tex-Lax treatments 3 to 4 times a year. And what determines whether to be 3 versus 4 is how fast my hair is growing. I normally try and do 3 times a year, but there's been times where I have to do 4. But nevertheless, I met my husband and we were trying to get pregnant, and it wasn't happening. It wasn't God's time. So I was in the middle of a stretch when God said, now it's time. I'm going to bless your womb. And I ended up getting pregnant, like I said, while I was in the middle of a stretch. And because I was high-risk pregnant, I was considered high-risk pregnancy for several reasons. I definitely did not want to risk the chance of giving myself a Tex-Lax process and end up miscarrying my baby. So I decided that I wouldn't do it. And ladies, I am not saying that you can't do it. It's just that with the things that was going on with me that caused me to be high risk, it was just best that I didn't put that on the line just to have perm or Tex-Lax hair. So I ended up finding myself in the middle of my first trimester, or towards the end of my first trimester, deciding, hey, I'm going on 5 months without chemical in my hair. Why don't I take this opportunity and try becoming natural again? Because I once was natural. So I said I'll just take that opportunity and become natural again. And like I said, it was a bad idea, because one thing about transitioning from chemical to natural is, first, not for all, but for let me just speak for me. For me, it took patience. It took time. It took, care. It took things that a pregnant woman that was having issues with her pregnancy should not have been trying to do. Bottom line, I was tired all the time. I was sick all the time. It was just really too much for me to handle. And my texture of hair, I have very thick, coily hair. So it just really wasn't the time for me to try and transition that into natural. And unfortunately, I ended up wearing braids from, I would say, my second to the middle of my third trimester. And that wasn't a good idea either, but I had to do what I had to do. And after I had the baby, I just really took a good look at my hair and realized that it was just really weak and damaged. I started to go through postpartum shedding. As you can see how my hair right here around the temples are, very, very thin. And actually, this is good. If you would have saw this a few months ago, I was actually bald in those 2 areas. So this is actually good. One of the things I would say, I call it the undercarriage area, and that is all this back here. It had actually started to get very weak, especially at the demarcation point. And those of you who are not familiar with what a demarcation point is, that is where 2 different textures come together, the point where they come together, and that can be one of the very weakest part of your hair strand, and it was for me. And during the time of all that my hair was going through, trying to go natural, not giving it the proper care that it needed during pregnancy, as well as the proper care that it needed after pregnancy, because my attention was on my baby and not my hair. And unfortunately, my hair suffered. And so my hair started, it broke off. It just point blank broke off. You would have actually thought someone had intentionally taken a pair of scissors and cut my hair at the demarcation point. I'm talking about, I got in the mirror one day to assess my hair, and I just noticed that I didn't have any more relaxed hair in this back area. It was just all Tex-Lax hair. And unfortunately, that was all Tex-Lax hair, but the top part of my hair, I still had, it was still long, and I still had some relaxed, I would say half of the strand was relaxed ends. And it's like, if I wore my hair down, you had all this thick hair until it got down to, I would say, armpit length, and I might be nice trying to say armpit length, but all this hair thick until it get to armpit length, and the only thing that hung from armpit length to bra strap length was the relaxed hair from the top of my head, and it just looked raggedy. It looked very thin. So I decided that I needed to do something about it. I did not enjoy seeing my hair like that. I had decided to cut my hair, but my husband, he was like, you know, give it some more thought. Don't do it right now, because I was a little, you know, I don't want to say emotional, but my emotions were high in terms of really being bothered by how my hair was looking, you know, just the condition of my hair. And I had worked so hard to get my hair healthy, and just the turn that it had taken. But nevertheless, my husband told me to just braid it up, and that's what I did. I got tree braids, and although I loved them, it unfortunately was not the time for me to get that. Because one thing, ladies, when you are going through, your hair is going through some problem areas, like the shedding around the front of my head, getting tree braids was not the best thing, because all that did was add more tension to the edges of my hair, and the little peach fuzz that I had got to grow in, it actually was bald again. And now I'm just regrowing it in. So nevertheless, after wearing the tree braids for a couple of months, I had decided when I took the tree braids out that I went on ahead and gave myself a Tex-Lex process, and I decided I was just going to cut my hair. I had made up my mind. I wasn't emotional about it. I wasn't upset or anything. I just decided that, hey, I know what my hair likes. I know how to grow it, cut off the relaxed ends, and start over, or start from that, you know, from that point. So I actually cut 4.5 inches off of my hair, and here it is. I actually cut 4.5, almost 4.5 to 5 inches off of my hair, and you know, here I am. And I decided that this is now a good time for me to do what I wanted to do years ago, and that is start making some YouTube videos about my journey, because I'm pretty much starting over. Some things, you know, you start your journey, you're doing, you know, you got this set regimen, you're up on your proteins, and then when your hair starts to grow and you realize you don't need protein as much, you don't realize you don't need to do this as much and that as much, you know, you come up with another routine, sometimes a simpler routine. Well, now that I'm pretty much have reversed back in my journey, I have to start back from armpit length, I am now coming hardcore. I'm going to revisit some things that I used to do that got my hair where it needed to be. I'm going to implement some things that I haven't tried before, and I'm going to retry some things that in the past failed me. My hair is in a different state now, and it may be more accepting to some of the new things that I want to try. And I wanted to have YouTube to share this journey with me, especially as I go through my trials and errors and try new things, different things, some old things. It just will be a good, you know, good opportunity. One other thing that I am going to be sharing on YouTube is I'm going to also be videotaping my weight loss. I still have a lot of my baby fat, and over the past week, it's now, what, 13 days, excuse me, it's been 11 days. I've been on the Master Cleanse, which is the Lemonade Diet, aka Beyonce Cleanser, and I'm also going to be bringing you all that, so you can watch me through, you know, several phases of my life, being a new mother, to my first daughter, growing my hair, and losing my weight, getting healthy again. So I literally can say it'll be videos that's bringing you health all the way from the tip of my head down to my bitty toes. So I thank you, YouTube. Please subscribe. I have a lot to bring you. God bless, and I hope you have a wonderful and prosperous day. Muchos besos.